Why did a chicken cross the road? I'll tell you why in this review and hopefully give you some numbers to work with. A chicken was probably dropped off near the freeway somewhere. Perhaps it can be your freeway where everything goes according to a random plan, or another place in time full of unfamiliar people. Cars check in and out of the lanes as if they're on cue to the oncoming chickens who have invaded their territory. Laid on the pavement while each feathery bird gives off enough oppression from interrupting flow of traffic to bring about a cause for new freedoms. Darkness has fallen onto the drivers for which a great, revealing light appears to pull fast appearances before their gaze at chicken numbers. What's ironic is that a driver may be heading to McDonald's for chicken nuggets in the 1980s, just when a chicken is pardoning the windshield with complete utter shock as she can cry out a yelp or gasp of surprise due to immediate satisfaction given to a player 1 or player 2. You see, the chicken has a destiny here. More than we can ever say about chickens leaves us at an urban mark across from the farms and forbidden fields invisible to Activision's program, although really clear and insured on what's lingering around the bend next to painted lines, worn asphalt, possibly after dozens of chickens got left behind by a farmer with a poor sense of humor. Ha ha ha. I don't think that farmer ever wanted to eat and enjoy chicken. He could have just wanted to leave some birds at freeway playgrounds where the oncoming numbers of trucks and cars of various kinds demand exclusive patience geared for a chickens crossing the road, heading against the feathers, left behind on a mark to get set to go, a galaxy far, far away upon the very borders of earthly humans in metallic disguise, right behind the rubber. No one has to die in the game unless the world of progress is imagined. Vision as it is tempered by my 2600 joystick, tug or pull at gold contacts, and my 7800 joypad, tug or pull at normal contacts. Freeway for the Atari 2600 also acts as a game for the Atari 5200 through the VCS adapter. Photos of this game in my photography collection show mostly colorized images, under which some are blogged for on the VCS adapter, as it's apparent from the straight dark lines you see going up and down on the TV screen for my VCS adapter. My 2600 Junior console takes a form of command for the program without the visually rough edges, but garners randomized rainbow sparks all over the general TV screen. Oh my gosh, and the chickens have to cross. But don't count your chickens before they hatch. Vegetarians ought to see this whole struggle between chickens and cars on a freeway as a Shakespeare play, like what's to be expected from health fanatics who come to importance of differential attention observed from surrounding individuals being either hypnotized by fashion magazine tabloids or simply dismissing the whole vegetarian and chicken crossing the road stuff as total unintellectual art. Ho ho ho. So why did the chicken cross the road? It's whatever your guess is. Maybe the rooster went the wrong way. Who knows? The guess is part of the joke. Ha ha ha. And, yeah. Definitely with my tone of voice in this review that I was giving for this video game review of a game called Freeway for the Atari 2600, it's now apparent to me from reading it out loud that Freeway is kind of like one of those Atari 2600 games that was technically modern for the late 70s or 1980s sort of period, but at the same time it was drawing a lot of imagination, curiosity, and creativity from past works, like maybe past Looney Tunes works or cartoon works or Betty Boop works. I mean, because there are a lot of those kinds of TV shows and cartoon shows of animals doing weird stuff and those kinds of things. And I think it's interesting because definitely when we, as artists, put animals in fiction and fantasy, we can make humans realize what types of arrogance and vulgarity that we have as human species by observing various behaviors, real and fake, in fantastic fictional animals in a work of art. So keep that in mind. Well, my hat is off to you, and this is Freeway for the Atari 2600. And hey, do not dismiss the ability to play Atari 2600 games on the Atari 5200 with the VCS adapter. I got a brand new VCS adapter from eBay a long time ago, and it's worked wonders, and it's worked marvelously. It's basically like getting into a new 2600. And that can help extend your library of the Atari 5200 and make you feel more confident because you have a lot of machine and gears instead of just a tiny little Atari 2600 Junior thing that could break easily if you touch it too much, I like to have the bigger machines like the Atari 5200 or like the Xbox or the PlayStation 5 because bigger machines make me feel more confident when I touch them. Whereas, just in general, the smaller the video games are, the less confident I feel when I try to touch them because it makes it feel like I could break it every single second if I'm not careful. For that reason, often I do not like CDs and micro SD cards as I used to because simply those are good examples of fragile technology where it's so small and diminutive and minuscule that it feels like I could break it any moment from just a tiny bit of excessive touch somewhere with my hands or body, and that makes me feel uncomfortable. And and definitely keep that in mind about video game history. Some consoles are fragile, and some consoles are hardcore. For that reason, it's generally better to get into the hardcore ones and try to avoid the fragile ones. So, I do not recommend gaming consoles from the past, such as PS1, Atari Jaguar, Atari 7800, unless you really need to play the games, of which, of course, then I would recommend those things to you. Otherwise, it's actually the big consoles that I really recommend, the big consoles, because big things invite big touch, whereas small things invite small touch. I mean, that is the law of nature, and I know there are these video games that have all these different versions of graphics and visuals and sounds and music and challenges and difficulties, but the fact is, big things invite big touches, and small things invite small touches, and I would prefer big, because humans generally will be big, whereas small things can be inaccessible to a great portion of strength and energy and courage and bravery in this world. And in America, we do need to have more of that magnetism of just, magnitude and strength and boulder and rockiness and enough so that way we could really shake up with the modern times and survival enough to feel great bright excitement over our mere basic times of living in an honest world. You take care and have a good one.